Of the warm temperatures, then you're going to like it. If you're a fan of the cooler temperatures, you're going to like it as well. So we have something for everybody. That cool air is really lingering with that trough back off towards the west. As we head over towards the east, we're starting to see that ridge really building in, and we're dealing with that warmer air coming from the south to the north. But watch this. This goes into motion, and you're going to start to see things change once again. So that dip in the jet stream slides a little bit further off towards the east and dips down off towards the south, whereas the ridge moves further off to the east as well. So hanging on last in the east, look at the temperature in D.C. as we head into your Friday. 91 degrees at the nation's capital. We're looking at 87 degrees in Raleigh. And then as we move back across the middle of the nation, starting to filter in that chillier air. So look at Omaha, number about 55. Minneapolis, though, coming in at 43 degrees. So that chill is real. It's alive. It's happening. I promise you, my friends, we can see on your Friday plenty of blue. So highs 15 to 25 degrees below average. Look how far this extends to the south, so we're starting to clip around Amarillo. Now watch what happens as this goes back into motion. We start to see more of the purples and the blues start to dive further to the south and more off towards the east. So places like Lexington now, Nashville are all under the highs that are about 10 to 20 degrees below average, and that starts to even extend over into D.C. around Baltimore. So that cold air will continue to spread off towards the south and off towards the east, and before it's all said and done on your Sunday morning, you're going to be waking up like this, shivering in Marquette with you being in the 20s for our lows, and even over towards Buffalo, we'll be in the 30s there, 40s in Nashville, and we can see what happens in terms of some lows and those record colds. Let's check out Sioux City, Iowa. Look at that. The forecast 24, the record set back in 1996 was 25 degrees. Jordan.
All right, let's take a look at your...
Welcome back to America's Morning Headquarters. Wednesday, the 19th of April. It is prime time for severe weather, and we are keeping a close eye on the middle of the country for today. We could see a few tornadoes. They could spin up. We could see large hail that might fall from the sky. Either or both are capable of significant damage. We're also tracking river gauges across the north central as rapid snowmelt produces flooding. Jordan, we actually did see some severe weather yesterday, too.
Yeah, you know, we got some video. Is shedding the new light on the harmful effects of air pollution, including disproportionate impact on minority populations.
Joining us to break down the 24th annual State of the Air report is Paul Billings from the American Lung Association. Thank you so much for being here. What more can you tell us about your findings and its impacts on the human lives?
In our State of the Air report, we find that
cities, location specific, just because you've got a lot of people, traffic and that such, going to work and school. But kind of talk about the disproportionate impact on the people of color. What does that specifically tell us?
What we see in our report is the people of...
You say the source out west is the fire, but who is the biggest culprit, or what is the biggest culprit in terms of the east or the middle of the nation?
Certainly traffic, cars and trucks, power plants, refineries, all of these
what do we do with that information? How do we get to an area that has a passing grade with air quality?
Well, I think what we need to do is we need to implement the Clean Air Act.
So overall, there has been an improvement over the last few years, but there is a big difference across the east versus the west. What can you tell us about that? Why is that?
What we're seeing is the impacts of climate
on us because of this, and then what can we do to protect ourselves?
The impacts on us, everyone is vulnerable to the health effects of air pollution.
Whenever we get those like air stagnation advisories, go inside, make sure your air is on recirculating mode. Paul Billings from the American Lung Association, we thank you for your time and, of course, for your findings on this and for the awareness that you are bringing to everybody. It has been so many times I've been just driving. I'd love to have my window down.
And you can't.
But you could just smell it. And so then windows up, turn the air, recirculating air, which reminds me, change out that air cabin filter from time to time as well.
Episode of Heavy Rescue 401 this Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, right here on the Weather Channel. Reynolds?
I think viewing party at Cantori's house.
The upper Midwest are entering moderate to major flood stage. Parks and roads are already underwater, and it could get worse. The flood emergencies in place as people rush to save their belongings. Reynolds?
And nothing says...
As we do have plenty of saturated ground out there, that soil is saturated because we have been seeing plenty of rain down off towards the south, and we have more on top of it as we head towards tomorrow, right through your Saturday. We're seeing some of those darker greens out there, pockets of that, maybe 2 to 3 inches. We're looking at this back off towards Louisiana. We can see this around Arkansas as well, and back off into Texas. But most of us will see up to about an inch before it's all said and done. Lots of green on the map. That is going to prevail, not going anywhere anytime soon. We'll start to time this out for you as we go into your Thursday. So that's tomorrow around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You have those plans. Maybe the kids have those after school activities. Things might be canceled if they're maybe maybe into baseball, softball at this point, the grounds are going to be already soft and saturated. So we'll have to see if those sports get canceled. But in the meantime, we do have the potential for some flash flooding tomorrow right into your Friday. We're looking at the deeper greens here. So this goes from Paducah all the way down off towards Waco. And then we'll do it again. We have some more deep greens here. This is Memphis, Greenville, also around Lake Charles in this. So when we talk about flash flooding, when we talk about flood watches, that means conditions are favorable for flooding. When we start talking about the flood warnings, that means that it's imminent, the flooding is occurring, and you need to seek higher ground. Back into motion for you as we work our way into Friday morning. Your rush hour, you're headed to work. Don't drive through flooded roadways. Find a different way. Turn around, don't drown. That's one of the mottos. That's one of the catchphrases there. And also, as we go into 4 o'clock in the afternoon, still watching for some floodings, or I should say some heavy rain coming in across the area, which could lead to the potential of flooding around Nashville. We're seeing this around Birmingham. So the bottom line is that this is going to continue to push on off towards the east. Saturday in the evening, Raleigh, you are going to be in the thick of things as well. So we can see Saturday morning into Sunday morning around Roanoke, Fayetteville, Wilmington, Myrtle Beach, all in the potential for some flooding. Jordan.
Well, Lynette,
Wednesday morning front lines, and we do have a winter filled with wreck system for sure. So this is what we're working with for today. We have that cooler air bottled up back off towards the west there. You could have that big dip in the jet stream, and it's allowing that colder air to come down from the north, and then vice versa. We can see what's going on with this ridge across the middle of the nation. You have that warmer air surging up from the south to the north, but watch how this starts to move down the line. So that trough moves further to the east. So we're going to have more of that colder air dive down to the south, and then that ridge moves to the east, and we're going to have more of that warmer air now still contained off towards the northeast. So they're going to be holding on for a dear life. So you know that button after you've just eaten too much and it's just holding on for dear life? That's what's going to be happening with these warmer temperatures. So we can see 90 degrees in D.C., 86 degrees in Raleigh as we head towards your Friday. On Friday, we're looking Minneapolis, 43 degrees. So what a difference, what a contrast. I want you to watch this area of blue grow. So we can see it's highs 15 to 25 degrees below average on your Friday. So Minneapolis, Bismarck in this, even down off towards Amarillo. Now watch what happens. It gets bigger, it expands, it drives down to the south, and it moves over towards the east. So we're talking highs 10 to 20 degrees below average. Now for Chicago, Lexington, Nashville, Jackson is in on this as well. We're going to see this around Dallas. And then finally, that colder air will start to move off towards D.C., Baltimore as well, because that cold air continues to work its way on off towards the east and also the south, that big dip in the jet stream. So we're going to be waking up on Sunday morning. These temperatures will be in the 30s and 20s in a lot of spots out there. And I want to show you this because this is huge. Look at this record cold in Kansas City, set back in 1893. The record 32 degrees, and Kansas City 29. We are going to break that by several degrees. Let's hope. I love breaking records, Jordan.
1890.
Yes.
Reynolds, who was the president?
Welcome back to America's Morning Headquarters. Wednesday, the 19th of April. It is prime time for severe weather, and we are keeping a close eye on the middle of the country for today. So we're going to be watching for a few tornadoes. They could spin up. We could see some large hailstones that could fall from the sky, too. Either or both will be capable of significant damage. And we're also tracking river gauges across the north central as rapid snowmelt produces flooding. So, Jordan, we did have some severe weather yesterday, and we could see today and possibly maybe go back to America's Morning Headquarters. And let's travel today, as we do have that travel forecast, and it's not looking the best at all. Look at this, Interstate 94, 90, 35, going to be pretty bad. And it's like we're layered, and the layers just keep getting worse because the further to the north you go, that's when you're going to be dealing with some rain, some snow. So a wintry mix out there. Slick roads are possible, and we do have the rain and the thunderstorms, too. Speaking of the thunderstorms, look what's going on just to the south of Minneapolis right now. Plenty of lightning with this complex. Has pretty much been here all morning long. This will continue to slowly lift on off to the north and east, but there's more where this has come from. As we go into the afternoon, we could possibly see more than that, but heavy rain really coming in along 494. Around New Richmond, starting to see a little bit of a wintry mix there. More of the same in Baldwin this morning as well. As we go through the rest of the morning, again, make sure you have the rain gear. You will need it. We're dealing with that cold rain in Wyoming, Lakeland, around Northfield as well, with those temperatures in the upper 30s and low 40s. That's it. We do get a bit of a break around lunchtime. That's some some good news, but it's still going to be chilly out there. Buffalo coming in about 40 degrees. And look what happens as we go to the evening. That's when we'll have more of that rain coming back around Minneapolis, Northfield, again, Wyoming. Going to be a bad go of things, especially as we go into the afternoon. Reynolds, Jordan.
Well, as Earth Day